How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beers back with yet another mystery beer. What are they? People send me beers like these, all wrapped up, so I have no idea what they are. I open them, I drink them, I talk about them, I guess, you know, what kind of beer it is, ABV, a whole bunch of other stuff. No prerequisites in the guessing. Sometimes I actually guess the beer. More often than not, I don't, but when I do, I'm actually pretty damn close. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. First things first, labeling. This is probably the highest class mystery beer I've received to date, because we have not only gone with the high-end Bounty paper towel, we have the high-end Scotch branded Edge Protect blue painter's tape. We are living the high life now when it comes, not Miller High Life, but we're living the mystery beer high life. So thank you very much, Steve. It's come courtesy of Steve from Up Connecticut Way. This is a fruited beer, by the way. And we're going to crack it and see what the sucker has. So yeah, we're talking about something with fruit in it. At this point, it could be anything. It'd just be a straight up kind of one of those kind of juice answery kind of beers where it's just crazy kind of fruit smoothie stuff going on. It could be a fruited kind of sour IPA. It could just be, who knows, it could be a Belgian beer. It could be a lambic. Maybe they started canning lambic. We don't know. Strawberry Quickhead. About 3/4 of pinky finger. Pretty tight, compact bubbles. And yeah, she's got a pretty decent hazer. I'm trying to get light around it, but pretty much only get a little bit of light on the back end on the edges of the glass. So she's pretty damn hazy. So she looks like a big, rich, hazy. Kind of reminds me of, it does look like lambic, but it's like a, what was it, Rodenbach did that fruitage beers. Those come in really small, kind of like Red Bull size. OG 8-ounce Red Bull size cans. Kind of reminds me color-wise, like that. Anyway, let's get a nose and a sucker. Yeah, I mean, it smells like fruit. It smells like soft, generic, you know, red raspberry with a little bit of blueberry, a little bit of blackberry kind of going on fruit. I'm not really getting much as far as an overt tartness from it. I'm not getting really much as far as any kind of hopping goes, dry hop or otherwise. And I'm not really getting much as tartness goes, just as soft, very, very soft fruit. So based off the nose, I would just go with a low ABV fruited ale. Like nothing, no IPA in the nose, no sour in the nose, just kind of, it's just a fruit beer. Let's dive in. Cheers. Ooh. Okay. Well, it's tart. It's very tart. It's not sour. It's just tart, like the way kind of sweet tarts are tart. Big tartness. Gobs. Huge gobs amount of fruit. Like, it's like, when you drink it, there is just this big, huge juice level to it. Like pulpiness, almost like a, not even pulpiness, I shouldn't say that. Like fruit turbidity. To the point where it's almost like thick because there's actually like fruit sludge in the beer. There's a little bit of a, like a slightly biscuity, slightly cereal grainy, slightly malty background to it. Not in the sweetness, but in the grain portion of the show. Probably mostly wheat and oats, I assume. That fruit comes through. It's pretty much exactly what the nose gave me, which isn't anything too like specific. Like this is this, this is that. It's more like a generic fruit medley. You know, your blueberry, your raspberry, your blackberry kind of mashed all together in that tartness. So it's somebody's like Berlinerd, kettle soured, super fruited beer. This is your non-hopped up Hudson Valley. This is your, what is it? It's not the Veil. What's the other one that I'm thinking of? The Tasty Boy. That one, whoever makes that, I forget who makes that goddamn beer. It is that answer juice kind of beer. So I'm guessing 3.5, 3.8% on this. Not a huge ABV. Gobs and gobs of fruit. This is one of those cans you put in out in a beer mail and it explodes. Basically, there's, even though the beer's not overly sweet, it's not overly sweet because of how tart it is, but it's also like there's just a bunch of re-fermentable, gobbling uppable. There's a word for you. Sugars can just be had in this one. So this is the one that explodes in a beer mill. But it's a fun version of that. It's basically low ABV juice smoothie that verges on not being a beer. That's it. That's all I got. So yeah, it's your answer stuff. It's your Tasty Boy. It's your non-hopped up version of that Hudson Valley, just rich, fruited, slightly sour, tart, fruit tarty beer. Done and done. I don't know who it is, because I don't... those are very coveted beers, and I don't really chase beers all that much. Like I said, I keep hanging my head on that Tasty Boy beer. I forget who said... I forget... God damn it. I always forget who the hell that is, but who makes those. But it reminds me of that. Very much that. But that's one of the last ones I had. I had a couple of juice ones from the Answer, but I know they pretty much only do that in their crowler format. I don't think they do any kind of canning. So it can't be one of those. So, yeah. The big reveal. Oh, no. He double wrapped it. Extra protection. Look at that, you son of a bitch. You sandbagging son of a bitch, Steve. Kind of screwing me up here. It's got silver up top. You didn't have to put all that tape up there. People just like to watch me struggle. Now here comes the big reveal. What do we have here? We have Hoax Brewing. It's their Black Currant Sleight of Hand. It's a Berliner style Weiss beer brewed with black currant. Yeah, there's a bunch of fruit in here. 4.5%. So it's a little bit higher ABV than I thought it would be. It's brewed and canned by Overshores Brewing, East Haven, Connecticut, exclusively for Hoax Brewing. So I assume Hoax Brewing actually just brews there and puts out their own beer. So to talk about black currant, sure, fine, I'm okay with that. It's just like a generic kind of dark fruit, red fruity kind of Berliner kind of small ABV sour thing. Like I said, there's so much fruit in this. There's so much black currant in this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's other fruits in this outside of that, because it comes off a little bit different than that, even though that kind of subtle sweetness, lack of sweetness, kind of tips its hand a little bit. But it's nice. It's fun. It's exactly what all those other breweries are doing, and it tasted like those. So, not that they're my favorite style of beer in the world, but this tastes like those beers. You know what? I haven't had a big, test bed with them. This tastes like what I have had from those beers in limited quantities. That's what they're shooting for. If that's what they're shooting for, they nailed on the head, because that's what I thought it was. I thought it was one of those breweries. So it's one of those breweries trying to do what one of those breweries are trying to do. And it does a good job of it. I mean, 4.8% or 4.5, sorry. It's a little bit higher ABV, but it's still very much a beer adjacent. It's almost at a point where you're, like I said, a slightly alcoholic fruit smoothie kind of vibe as opposed to beer. Is that a bad thing? No, but it's called a Berliner Weiss, which is a beer. It doesn't really have that much in common with a beer, other than its carbonation and slight alcohol, and the fact that it's made in the process of making beer, kind of, sort of. So anyway, I like it. I think these beers are tasty. I've enjoyed the ones that I've had over the several months and years or so since they've been around. But at the same time, they don't really just kind of blow my head off or make me go gaga like a lot of people tend to be. These are actually one of my favorite beers and I have to share, to be perfectly honest with you, because this is like almost like one of the best palate resets in the history of mankind. If you're sitting, someone cracks one of those big crowlers and people drink like about this much of it, and then you're drinking all these crazy beers and you just want something to kind of drink, not get hammered, and just kind of reset. These things usually do it well, so that's what I usually drink them. And it shares for reset purposes. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better, fruited Berliner, the juice style beers? Sure, fine, it is. It'd probably do with a little bit more sweetness, as far as I'm concerned, but its lack of sweetness is kind of, a cool portion of the show too, to be perfectly honest with you, so I dig it. Value and availability, no idea. Maybe Steve can chime in and leave you with, if you like what, will you like this? If you like those beers, if you like the juices and Tasty Boys, this is going to do you proper. And it's made well, it's tasty. It's just, like I said, beer adjacent, so it's hard to do beer adjacent things on a beer channel. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Down there, if you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little fruited beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.